Welcome, welcome, welcome to another live edition of The Extra Point. As you can see, we have a packed house. We have the gang all here on the Double Dutch bus today. We got Tasha T. Sizzle occupying the middle square. Michigan Mike is back in the house. Our man, the boots on the ground, Mr. Boomer Sooner himself, Mr. Brandon B. Lewis. And today we have a special guest for all of you Texans out there. Big 12 phenomenon. Mr. TCU former running back, Mr. BJ Catalon. How's it going today, sir?
It's going good, man. It's going good. I appreciate you all for having me this morning, and I'm excited to do the show with you all today.
Oh, man, the pleasure is all ours. We are very excited to have you on board, and we have a ton of questions for you today. But before we do that, first, a word from our sponsor.
We are sponsored by May Jane's Coffee. That's MAEJANES coffee.com. You can get your Colombian, your Honduran, and your Brazilian blend coffee, freshly ground or not, by my lovely daughter, Sasha Denise. And I have an update from the owner herself. May Jane's Coffee Launch Party will be an online reveal May 14th. New packaging, new coffee, new labels. Check out the article. Buy some coffee. We back in stock.
All right. Way to go. Tasha T. Sizzle. Make sure you all get your May Jane's coffee. Now, Mr. BJ, do you want to be BJ? You want to be Mr. Catalon? BJ 3? What like how do you
BJ is mine.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, BJ. Now, for everyone who comes on the show their first time, they must sit in the hot seat as we play a game called This or That. Now, I'm going to give you two options, but you can only keep one. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with this. Hot sauce or ranch? Which one you keeping?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Okay, not a ranch fan?
I like ranch, but if I got to choose one, it's hot sauce.
All right, he's playing the game like it's supposed to be played. That's what's up. All right, next up, New York or L.A.?
L.A.
Okay, all right. The weather. Okay, all right. Well, Miami or Vegas?
Miami.
Okay, well then.
The scenery.
So we see a theme here. So this may lead us to this next answer: private plane or private yacht?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the yacht.
Yeah, man, you're gonna be in Miami and LA. You might as well have the boat with you. All right. Next up, Tex-Mex or Texas barbecue?
Barbecue.
Okay, you're not a fan of Tex-Mex?
I got to choose, right?
All right, okay. Nice. Okay, next up, and I want you to think carefully about this one.
Yeah, because
Ladainia Tomlinson. All right, Ladainia Tomlinson or Reggie Bush?
You're wrong.
We did our homework.
You're wrong.
We did our homework.
You already know what I'm gonna say then.
All right, well let the people in.
Say it with your chest.
Reggie Bush.
All right. For those that don't know, Reggie Bush is one of his favorite running back. His favorite running back of all time. So I figured I'd throw in a TCU legend to see if we can.
Ladainia is the reason though I did go to TCU. Like that was part of my decision. So I got the college jersey, the pro jersey. I met him, and all things like that. But growing up, Reggie Bush did something to us mentally, as far as his college career. It was different.
Was it the behind the back run against Fresno State when he took the ball behind his back and went 80?
Yep, and then he wore two sleeves that game, but one got ripped off. And so ever since then, when I played high school, college, I wore one sleeve because of that.
All right,
so
nice.
I took that from that. So it was definitely influential in my football career. So
right, you looked Reggie Bush-esque against LSU at AT&T Stadium, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And last but not least, LeBron or Michael Jordan?
LeBron James.
Welcome to the extra point.
Put it on, man.
The extra point. All right, Brandon, you did an excellent job with this one, my man. Way to go.
We only get the best on here.
She not having it though. She's not happy.
I'm done with the show for today.
I'm sorry. I just like LeBron. I like his style of play. I like all of that.
Yeah, keep going. Yes.
Paul, stand up. Let's see your jersey. Paul, stand up. Let's see your jersey.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Stand up.
No, I'm not
See
standing
what
up.
had
You never
happened
see
was-
this number. Now look,
I'm gonna stand
now,
up.
this is the 45, but let me explain. I got this for my 45th birthday as a gag gift from my brother because I turned 45. So there we go. Now I'm really 35, but you know, I think I done said about 12 different ages on this show. Mike, stop it. All right. So good job by you. Brandon, you up.
I'm up. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, BJ, appreciate you being on the show, man. It's a huge honor for me. You know, we've been knowing each other for years, so I appreciate it definitely.
I appreciate that too, man. For sure. I'm glad you reached out.
Almost definitely. So I want to start off with the combine process, man. You know, it passed, but of course, you know, we're going into draft weekend. So I want you to talk about, you know, your combine experience from starting off at TCU and working your way into Indianapolis.
Oh yeah. It was a great experience. I would say it was one of those times where it felt like a lot of pressure was on you, of course, you know, because you wanted everything to go perfectly. I mean, it's an interview in a sense, right? You know, right. You basically want everything to line up, you know, hard work and preparation. When they meet opportunity, you know, you want to succeed. And so I would say it was more mentally draining for me personally than it was physically, just because I was coming off injury, you know, and I had to forego my senior year because of that injury, you know. So it wasn't a thing where I wanted to leave at that moment. I wanted to stay and play my senior year, but, you know, things happen the way they happen, and you got to go with the cards you dealt. And so I just got an agent coming out. I would say we went to the Peach Bowl that year. We played on New Year's Eve, and so I think the combine that year was February 17th, and I didn't get my agent till like January 12th. So the process was like trying to figure out where I'm gonna go train, things like that. There were a few mistakes I would say I may have made during that time, as far as just going through a lot mentally. I wanted to come back home and train when maybe I could have went somewhere else and trained, but I wanted to kind of come back home, which wasn't bad. I had a good trainer. He got me physically prepared. Within a month, I had a month. And like I said, I was injured for like 2 months. I couldn't lift weights. I couldn't work out, couldn't exercise, couldn't go to class. So for 2 months, I was just, you know, idle in my house, you know. And so it was a lot to try to catch up to those other guys who had been playing the full season, still in football shape. So I think when I first started benching again, I could only hit 225 maybe one time. Wow. And so in that month, I think I didn't lift at the combine because I was behind, but in my pro day, I got it up to 20 or whatever. But, you know, just so it was a lot of hard work, eating right, getting your rest. Like I said, it's a lot more going into it than just hopping out there working out. You know, it's a lot more mentally that is put into it. Also, your diet, that was huge for me. I think I was in the best shape of my life at that time, you know, eating all type of vegetables, fruits, and like that was all day, every day. I think you might have only ate 1,500 calories a day. Wow. And but it came in a lot of meals. So I might have ate 5 meals a day. So I was never like hungry, you know, but the meals that I were eating were like low in calories, and they were, you know, tailor-made, you know, for my body specifically. But working out twice a day, you know, you're in contact with your agent is in contact with different teams trying to, you know, get your name out there. And like I said, it was a blessing to even get invited. Like I said, because I had a short junior year. My junior year was ended short. Everybody was like, why are you leaving? I was, you know, I wasn't forced to leave, but that was my only option in that moment. I couldn't come back.
if I may interrupt you there for a minute, with your injury being CTE related, and with all the lawsuits and concussion protocols and things like that, what made you still want to pursue being in the NFL or playing professional football? Because you missed like the last 5 games of your junior season because of concussions.
Right. A dream. A dream.
You used to read Word Magazine?
So I was heavy D up in the limousine.
Look, so that's 2 stars. We got some Biggie and some LeBron references already.
I'm a fan for sure. But that just like we mentioned earlier, Reggie Bush, growing up seeing him, LT, Barry Sanders, different people like that. Like that was my dream since I was a little kid, and I knew I had some talent, but I also knew that I did whatever I could do as far as putting in the work, as far as we got regular workouts. Now I'm going to go work out by myself. Now I'm going to go do this. I'm going to take all the necessary steps to be the best that I can be. So it's like when you right there knocking at the door, I can't turn around now.
Right.
It was like, at least I want an opportunity. It was like, for me, it was like, as long as I can put on that NFL helmet, run through the tunnel, you know what I'm saying? Play it down, then I can at least say I accomplished that.
Because I read your poem. It was very good. I read it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You helped put TCU on the large map, so those large games. Now that Texas and OU are moving to the SEC, ideally TCU can dominate the Big 12. Let's hope so. But do you think they should stay there in the Big 12, or do you think they should move on to a different conference?
I think they should stay, personally, just because where they came from, coming from the Mountain West and another conference before that, and being able to get into the Big 12. We won a Big 12 title, 3 years into the Big 12? And I think they had a shot at another one maybe a couple years after that against OU. And so I think it's a good conference. I think recruiting wise, it's a good conference to be in. The teams you play week in and week out. Now it'll be an actual 12-team conference instead of 10. Going forward. So I think it's still some opportunity you're gonna get a lot of looks as far as from the pro level, the scouts and things like that. They have a good tradition and history of getting guys seen and getting guys to the NFL, or at least opportunities. And so going to another conference, I don't think would change that. And I feel like they could dominate there, like you said, now, and that'll be a good chance because once all it is about winning. So once you stay in the Big 12, you win a couple championships back to back. Then everybody's knocking on the door. All the recruits are coming. So I think the Big 12 is a good spot right now.
I agree with that.
What was it like playing for Coach Patterson?
Man, I love Coach P. Man, it was a good experience. He brought a certain attitude, a certain mentality where you had to be prepared for it, or you had to man up. Basically, his mentality forced you to man up. Or
that's Mike's kind of coach.
Yeah. And at first, some guys don't. Everyone doesn't relate to it. Some people feed off of it in a positive way, and some people it affects them negatively. So I remember when I first got there, I went in early, as a freshman. I went in January, so we went right to spring ball, and I'm going to my room, calling my friends back at home, and I'm like, man, I wish I was at home with y'all, still enjoying senior year, running track. It's easy, but now it's like I'm taking college courses, and I'm out here with. I was 17. I just made 17, so I was out there. It's 22, 23-year-olds. You know, it's grown men out here. Some of these guys got children. So it was a little different, you know. And then him coming in and like me seeing coach like get after people the way he was. You know, you come from high school where you're one of the best guys in your high school. You used to getting pepped up, and you know. And like I said, most of the time I didn't need any extra motivation as far as I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be a leader regardless. So I don't need no motivation to do that. But, you know, being young, I was like kind of scared and fearful. And when you scared playing football, it shows. You know what I'm saying? It shows. You go out there and get hurt or be embarrassed. And so I think that was more of his thing, is like he got on to me about, you know, like we recruited you for a reason now. Like, come show us.
Right.
And so after that, at first I took it hard. I was like in my feelings about it. But then I learned it was certain players like he didn't have to get on because they came with that mentality every day. And so I just started coming with that mentality every day. And after a while, you know, he might get, and then I'll see, you know, okay, if he does get on me, we're in the locker room joking around. So certain things, that was his job to motivate us. You know, I started not looking at it as, oh, he's getting on to me, poor me. I looked at it as, man, he's doing his job. You know, like those college coaches, if you're not doing your job, you're not winning games, you get fired. Right, you need the best players on the field. Right. And you recruited us for a reason. You paying us or you giving us a scholarship to come and, you know, be a part of a university and get an opportunity to play. So I started looking at it like that, and it just changed my whole mindset. And like I said, I still talk to him and his wife, you know, and some of the other coaches to this day, you know, just, hey, how you doing? They check on you, seeing how everything's going. And so, yeah, like I said, I end up really liking Coach Pete.
I have one more question. Okay. And this is just a funny question.
Okay.
you were at the rookie mini camp for the I'm gonna use their proper name since we have guests, for the Cowboys.
Thank you, Tasha.
What we really want to know is, tell us the truth. What be going on down there in Valley Ranch? Come on.
Well, when I was there, it was just the rookies.
What be going on?
No, when I was there, it was just the rookies.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw Jason Witten, I believe, walk into the locker room.
But did he have his toupee?
No, not that I saw. No, not that I saw. But yeah, it was just the rookies. All the coaches were there though. But we stay up in the Gaylord Resort Hotel, and it was just a 3-day mini camp, kind of, you know, seeing what they had, seeing the options they could pick up or go with. Like I said, the draft picks were all there. The free agents they signed, the workout guys. So it was just the rookies, but it was a good experience to get in front of, you know, professional coaches and, you know, hear their feedback, see how they feel about you individually, things like that. So I didn't really get too much, you know, into what goes on beside it was just us, you know, rookie camp.
No White Houses or anything like that.
No, we didn't get into that.
So, BJ, my question to you, I got another question for you. I want to talk about some of the defenders, like some of the linebackers you went head to head with, some of the cornerbacks, some of the safeties. Talk about some of those experiences.
Man, of course, everybody knows the hit I took against West Virginia. I believe Carl Joseph, he caught me right here up under the chin. And that was the concussion I got that ultimately ended my career. Playing against that team, I got a concussion against West Virginia 2 years in a row. Just because they were very physical. I will say that. It wasn't like a thing of fear though. It was like that's part of football. Like you're gonna go out there and get hit. You hit people. You knock people down. But that's a team for sure that I can say was very physical. Klein, I believe his name is it AJ Klein? Yeah, he was at Iowa State.
Yep.
Yeah, he sprained my AC joint. I never forget that. I was a freshman. I got the ball, come running along the side, and I was already getting tackled, and he came and like dove on me, and my shoulder pad, like this arm was in the ground, this one got drove in the ground, and so it sprained my AC joint. And after that, I was like, man, I don't want to get hit by him again.
That's 2 NFL players that you got lit up by, you know.
Yeah.
And
But you
you
should
won't ever forget that, you know.
You should have learned from the great Randy Moss. You ain't never see Randy Moss take no hits across the middle. Why? Because he didn't go across the middle. Sometimes you may have to run out of bounds, young man.
He's not running out of bounds. He's Mike's spirit animal. Mike will never run out of bounds. Mike.
Yeah, so you talk about how football takes over majority of your day, but I want to kind of see the flip side. What kind of hobbies or what are you into? What do you like to do for fun?
Writing was something I ended up picking up. I got into liking poetry or writing, to music or whatever, and that really came after I got injured. Honestly, because it was like now I need football for a lot of people is like an outlet, right? It's kind of one of those things where it's a zone. You get in the zone, everything else you leave that at the door, which is what they want you to do anyway. But for some people, that is really their like safe haven, and so that was one for me. And so after that, it was kind of like now I'm scrambling for something that I can do that I enjoy. And writing was something I always liked, as far as even in class or whatever. Growing up, English was something, I enjoyed doing and I always excelled at. So I kind of started picking that up one day and just jotting down how I was feeling and then making it creative, using certain things to make it creative. And so that became a hobby for me. Of course, during college, you playing the game. We'll go play the game in somebody's room, hanging out with your friends. But yeah, like in college, that's pretty much what we did. We were still kids, it was like once we were done with football, we might go to Walmart and get water guns. And now we running through the dorm shooting each other, with water guns. So we were, like I said, we were still kids. We were just having fun still, and just trying to, that was a way for us to enjoy still being children or being young adults still,
I should have got an NIL deal with Nerf guns or something.
Man, we didn't have that at the time.
You know what, Mike? I'm glad you brought that up. What are your thoughts about the NIL? Like last weekend, Dabo Swinney, from the head coach of Clemson, came out and basically blasted the transfer portal and the whole NIL process, basically saying with the transfer portal that you using it is showing your team, your roster, they're not good enough, and it's showing your recruiting staff that they're not good enough. Do you subscribe to that, or do you wish that they would have had the NIL and the transfer portal back when you played?
So to be clear, the NIL is where, they can get paid for like their likeness and things like that. That I agree with. I feel like not with Dabo Swinney. I'm saying I agree that NIL is a good thing,
Right.
because, and I feel that way in particular, just because you might have a college athlete. What's the guy name? He played running back at South Carolina.
Oh yeah, that went to San Francisco.
Messed up his knees.
Yeah.
Lattimore.
Marcel Lattimore.
Yeah.
So for him, for example,
Excellent
at that time,
result.
his draft stock was high.
It was sky
When you
high.
get those injuries and things like that, you lose money. You lose opportunity. Oh, I think he was still drafted, but I don't think it was high.
It was really late. I think it was like a 6th-round pick for the 49ers, right?
Right. And so reasons like that are why I feel it's a benefit to the athlete, because you're getting all this love, you're getting all this opportunity. That's why they took the video game away for a while, because you might not have the name out there, but it's the same height, same color, same jersey number or whatever. And so it's like you have people buying these games. You have athletes on billboards, and in magazines and different things like that, doing all these things that because of football, but are outside of football,
Right.
and it's kind of like they deserve they deserve something for that, because
Us at the top, we're all Michigan people. The Fab Five, what they did
mhm,
they were trendsetters.
right,
And then you look at Shoelace, he was on the cover of that EA, sports.
Right.
How much money could they have made? It would have never been a reason for the allegations against Chris Webber had they been able to make money off of their likeness
Excellent.
when they at Michigan.
right. And to that is a lot of times you'll hear, well, y'all get a free scholarship, so y'all want to get paid too, and it's like, well, yeah, because of the reasons you said, like, yeah, you paying for school, but some of these guys or some of these athletes, men or women, couldn't come to this university if it wasn't for a scholarship. They couldn't afford it.
And everybody doesn't have the money to get those $1 million policies.
Right.
There.
Right.
Well, my biggest deal from this is that it's not apples to apples. They treat the athletes differently because people can get full ride scholarships in the physics program, but then they can get grants from other businesses and get money that way. But yet athletes do it and they're like, no, you can't make money off of that.
And I can attest to that because with my daughter, with her working in the athletic department at Mississippi State, clanga, she benefited from everything that every athlete in Starkville got. I mean, everything. She benefited. She got to eat the better food. She got to benefit from that. But what did my daughter still do? She had a job.
That's what I was going to say.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And then if you're an actual athlete out there performing, practicing, you don't have time to go to work.
No time. You got study hall. Mm-hmm. You have all of these things that, like, we're on scholarship, but our schedule isn't optional. It's mandatory.
Right.
If I don't pass, I don't play. If I don't go to practice, I don't play. And now, they got to the point where you get they say a 4-year scholarship, but really it's 1 year.
It's a year.
It's a year, and then you re-sign the next year. So after 1 year, if you're not performing or you're not doing what you need to do in the classroom, on the field, or whatever the situation is, after that year up, you can be gone.
They just did that at Grambling. It was Grambling, the volleyball team.
I heard about that.
The new coach came in and just everyone that was on scholarship took it away.
That's a cold world. Now, while we still have Mike on with us, I wanted to transition into the NFL because the draft is 5 days away. And right now, as it stands, I think it's Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. Their draft board has 7 wide receivers slated to go in the first round. Now, to juxtapose that, we have a few NFL wide receivers that are wanting to get paid or traded, and they still have a year left on their deal. So we're going to play a quick game while Mike is still with us of pay me or trade me. I'm going to give you all some wide receiver names, and you tell me if you're the team, do you pay them or do you try to trade them to get some draft capital ahead of Thursday's draft? We're going to start with you, BJ. Deebo Samuel. Now, we know that he scrubbed his Instagram of all 49ers mentions or anything. He's unhappy with the state of affairs of how things are going with his negotiations. You are John Lynch. Are you paying him or are you trading him?
I think initially I would have wanted to pay him just because of he had already put in the work. It's easier to pay you knowing what the work you did for me, right? Versus you telling me,
he eliminated my Cowboys. That's what he did. He eliminated my Cowboys.
He did. And they came through the tunnel with the Kodak going on. I was like, I like that.
I blame Mike for the Kodak Black.
Yeah, I like that. But now that he feels that way, I think it's best to trade. Once you get in a situation where that work relationship isn't good anymore, it's kind of like, even if I pay you now, it's still like a little tension between us, and who knows if that'll ever, be fixed. But I think he's proven that he's worth money.
Right.
As the 49er faithful here.
The 49er fan. Let's let her go. All right. Are you paying him, man? Or are you trading him?
I'm all about these people getting their paper, getting their chicken, as Marshawn Lynch said. They need to pay him. So y'all gonna trot Trey Bebe out there with no options? He is your wide receiver. He is your running back. He is your part-time quarterback. Hell, he's the offensive line. He is everything. Why wouldn't you want to pay? And that's the problem. He feels like he should be paid. He's playing the position that is the highest paid behind the quarterback. But yet you guys are not paying him this money. They need me as a 49er fan wants him to stay. I want him to get paid. But also me as a 49er fan, we don't beg nobody.
As a Cowboy fan, trade him. Trade him to the AFC and hopefully not the AFC South.
You know, he has to do what's best for him. And if but John Lynch is not going to, he's already said he wasn't going to trade him. They're trying.
But you can get a boatload for Deebo Samuel, especially a thirsty team like the Indianapolis Colts. My brother Damian checking in says, trade Deebo. This seems to be a problem with the coaching staff. Mike, do you agree?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I agree with D. I'm going to say trade him, and this doesn't just help the 49ers. It more helps Deebo in the situation that he's in right now. They got a lot of stuff to figure out, and you might as well just get the best deal. And from the 49ers, they're probably just playing hardball, like, no, we're not going to trade him, but secretly they just want the best deal.
I mean, he can go. I got a list. They said the Saints, the Jets, the Packers, and the Cowboys. If I was him, if I got traded, I want to go to the Packers because that's going to be your best.
Come on to D-Town. Deebo
and Cowboys need him.
What I like.
I'm going to Dallas.
You go trade the man.
Man, initially I would say,
pay the man. Bitches. Yeah.
Gosh, you gonna let me talk?
I'm sorry.
All right. So my initial plan would to be pay the man, honestly, because what else do they have? They don't have nobody else. That's their Swiss Army knife. That's like they Christian McCaffrey. So I initially would say pay it. But like BJ was saying, when you have that tension, that work relationship is not going good, you might as well go on and get the best, assets, future assets that you can, because I feel like once they have to trade them, they're going to be kind of like in rebuild mode because they have questions at quarterback. They can't stay healthy at running back. And then he's their best receiver. So what else can you do? So, I mean, at this point, it's to go on and trade him and go on and, do what you got to do.
Okay. Well, D, I hope you're listening right now because next up is our beloved hometown favorite. I'm actually from Nashville, and I'm a Titans fan. I just live in Dallas. But next up is A.J. Brown, who also just recently took the Titans off of his Instagram page. He is the best receiver they've ever drafted in the history of the franchise since they moved to Tennessee. And he's unhappy. He's looking for $25 million plus. The Titans are in cap purgatory. Let's start with you, Mike. You gonna pay the man, or you gonna trade the man?
Pay that man. That man is a
Mike,
beast. He will be a beast. Just give him his money. Figure that out. Okay, now let's figure out everything else we got to do with this team.
Absolutely, Mr. BJ. Do you pay AJ Brown or do you trade him?
I agree 100% with Mike. You pay him. He has to be paid.
Yeah, look at that! Look at that Cincinnati game. Look at the game he had against San Francisco on national television. Their offense does not move without AJ Brown, and we saw in the playoffs that AJ was more important to that offense in that game than Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, definitely, and of course he was coming off an injury, but definitely.
Hey, speaking of which, can you settle a debate for us? We were having a debate right around playoff time about him coming back to play in that game. Would you have let him come back to play that one game, or you would have had him sit and just start back the next season?
I mean, he's Derrick Henry, so I don't think you just sit him and he's healthy. But I don't think he should have started. He should.
So we all win. All right. See, I like BJ.
See, no, he's saying that there needs to be a healthy workload. That's what he's saying. That's
right.
The other running back
was not getting it done in that game.
Was already doing good. That he started doing good. He had built momentum. Like you go with him right now.
Right.
And see, that's why he left y'all. That's why he left y'all, Paul. He went to Carolina.
He did, and I don't blame him because the man he earned that opportunity, but he should have started and finished that game. I see the error of my ways now, and it cost us a win. Tasha, you paying AJ Brown or are you trading him?
I'm gonna pay him and put Facebook users comment back up there.
That's another story for another day.
So simply because, Arthur Juan.
Yes, Arthur Juan. Always open his name on Twitter.
doesn't need Tannehill. Tannehill needs him because they do that play action play with Tannehill, and he needs a physical receiver like AJ Brown. It's not the other way around. So you need to pay him.
Damie, don't you get no stuff started this morning. I haven't had my blood pressure medicine. And my brother said, and he is a Titans aficionado. He says, AJ don't trust Tannehill. Don't say that in front of company, D. But it's true.
He doesn't.
But AJ Brown should have gotten that ball on 4th and 5. I don't care if he was quadruple covered. You try to throw it to some nobody, and the ball gets intercepted, and we get put out the first game of the playoffs. Damie, thank you a lot for that. Now, BJ, we coming back to you. We're going DJ Metcalf, his Ole Miss teammate. Now he's got all kind of stuff going on with his contract situation. Mm-hmm. There's really no quarterback in Seattle. If you're if you're DJ in this case, would you want to get paid or would you want to get traded, BJ?
Yeah, I'd rather just try to get up out of there. With Russell gone, I mean, you know, like you said, they're trying to figure out the quarterback situation there.
Right.
And he's been off to a good start to his career. And I think as a receiver, the most important thing, even outside of winning championships or winning games, is you want to get to Canton. They're gonna go off your stats, not how many rings you got.
STO. Right.
Yeah. So the idea is to play with a good quarterback, somebody who you trust and gonna get you the ball, so you can perform. You know, I mean, right. Odell Beckham, for example, once he left New York, his productivity, declined, and then it was
with that OU quarterback,
huh?
With that OU quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I mean that's another story. They pay him right now.
My quarterback is not the only one getting slammed on this episode. Okay.
They praise him up here because he in town right now, so I might see him later. But
okay.
I mean, the thing about it is, with DK being in Seattle, it's time to move around. You know, they not giving him the respect once they, traded Russell. That was the end of DK. It's time for him to.
It's time to blow that thing up. I totally agree.
They don't have a quarterback. Drew Lock is not a lock. He's not a lock.
Drew Lock can do the Dougie and the Gritty on the sideline.
Pitt's not a lock. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's best for him to go on and move around if I was him.
Yeah.
Mike, you DK Metcalf. What are you telling your agent this morning, 5 days before the draft?
Hey, find me a good quarterback, and I'm going there. That's what I would tell him.
His name is Dakota Rain Prescott. Come on, we got a starting spot for you right here in D-Town. The stadium is phenomenal. The practice facility.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady tried to get him,
Oh, my God. Well, of course you were going to sneak in Tom Brady. You've been out for 2 weeks.
The greatest of all time.
Not debating that, Mike, but not the time for that.
No.
DJ Metcalf, you on the phone with your agent right now. What are you saying?
One question, and I don't know if you guys know this. What do all 4 of these wide receivers have in common other than the fact that they were all second-round picks?
Well, come on, you stumped us. Dead air is bad for podcasts.
I didn't do my research for that one.
Tory Dandy. They all have the same agent.
Sure. Now that was a doing. Right. So are you saying that this could be an all or nothing? Everybody gets re-signed or everybody gets traded?
The thing is, DK Metcalf has said he didn't want to leave. So
marijuana is legal out there.
Hey, I don't know. But I mean, they did lose Russell Wilson, and then they cut Bobby Wagner, and I think him and Bobby Wagner were like really.
And that is Seattle. Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner are the Seattle Seahawks, so they're starting completely over, right? But
This one is kind of hard because he has come out and said he does not want to leave. So
we shall see. That's very interesting. The fact that they all have the same agent. Good job.
And the thing is, they're not. If they think they're going to get Tyreek Hill got like $72 million. Devontae Adams got like he got $72 million. Oh, okay. And Devontae Adams got like $65 million. They have all outplayed, their second round rookie contracts, but they're not going to.
Kirk is the one that messed up the market, getting $30 million in Jacksonville. He didn't.
It's like these teams. I think I got to kind of jump the gun a little bit and move on to your next receiver.
Go ahead, Terry McLaurin with the Washington Redskins.
You know, they got to pay Chase Young may want some money coming up through there. And what's the other guy? I can't think of his
Jonathan
name.
Allen?
Yes, Jonathan Allen. They're going to want some money. So you're going to want to pay those too.
But he's the best receiver they've had in a while.
Okay, but he's the best receiver on the third best team in the worst division in the NFL.
Good point by you, Tasha. BJ, if you're Terry McLaurin, do you want to play with Carson Wentz or are you trying to get the hell out of DC?
Well, kind of like what she said, as far as the money situation go, I can't see them paying him a whole bunch of money. And is he the type of receiver?
Leave. Go on and say it. Say it.
No, I was gonna say, is he the type of receiver to keep putting up those numbers consistently?
With Carson Wentz? Oh, I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, anywhere.
Like,
I was reading an article. You're talking about Carson Wentz, and somebody called the Washington Commandos, whatever their name is, their situation as the carousel of caca.
Moving on in a hurry, Brandon.
I don't see.
Yeah, I would get out of there. I
don't see them paying him because I feel like Washington's mindset is more defensively. Mm-hmm. Notice all the people they have brought in. They haven't really brought in no top-notch offensive weapons. I mean, Brandon, they drafted him, of course, but as far as like what they're trying to do, I don't think their emphasis is offense. It's defense.
That's a great point, and that's what scares me about the Tennessee Titans, because the Tennessee Titans re-signed Harold Landry to a massive deal. Their outside linebacker, their edge rusher, and yes, Tennessee's defensive front was the strength of their team last year, but they made a statement right off the bat in free agency. That's where their priority was, and if you're A.J. Brown, you're probably like, oh, okay. So that's what kind of game we're playing. So just to piggyback on your point, I think that's the same thing that's happening with Tennessee. If we got our defense and we got Derrick Henry, we'll plug and play everywhere else. And that worries me about DJ. Now,
but it goes back to like kind of what we were saying about well-run organizations. Washington is not a well-run organization, so they don't make the best decisions.
All right.
That is certainly true. We're about to go to jail. But to put it lightly, we'll get into that in another show. Now, it's been fun talking football with you, BJ. You've enlightened me on a lot of stuff. It was good to take a peek behind the camera, behind the curtain. But now let's get to a little basketball. Let's see. Do you keep up a little bit?
It would be no slander. No slander.
Oh, it's gonna be some slander, Brandon.
Slander with who? For who?
So I want you to just interject in this sibling rivalry, because a few weeks ago they stomped on my grave when the King got eliminated. But I got a question for them today. We're not even gonna start with that question. That's a tease. Let's start right here. Joel Embiid and the 76ers today. They're looking to sweep Toronto. They're up 3-0. They play today at 1 o'clock. BJ, does Toronto stand a snowball's chance in hell, or do you think this series is over today?
I think the series will be over. Yeah, I think the series is done. I feel like they defeated. Yeah, definitely. And this is the way they've been playing. But Philly got a chance to do something. I don't see them making it, to the finals, but I can see them, making a good run. So, but I don't think Toronto. I think they lost their pieces. Certain pieces they needed.
They did. Yeah. Losing rookie Scotty Barnes was just catastrophic for them to try to keep up with Philly. Do you agree, Brandon? Does Toronto extend this today, or is this a sweep-ola?
Oh no, this is a sweep. Toronto is not the same team that they were. I don't think Nick Nurse is the answer. I think it was just one of those situations like in Miami where Spoelstra was just there at the right place at the right time.
He was.
You know what I mean?
He was.
I don't see them as being like Hall of Famer coaches. So back to, your question, to answer it, Toronto is done. They might as well just go on and pack it up.
Yeah, that three at the buzzer the other night to put them up 3-0. You let a 7-foot giant shoot a turnaround three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left. You done. Tasha, do you agree? Is Toronto out of here?
No.
You have no faith in Joel Embiid. We the
North. I still have.
He said, I forgot.
Canada's been good to her. You know, when she was ducking the draft and all of that. Like, she was up there in Canada. Like, it's 1968. I digress. All right, moving on. Now,
but Embiid is hurt. Does he have like an injured finger or something?
Yeah, I think they're done. Joel Embiid is on a mission, and I think they're gonna go ahead and put them out of their misery. Now the Mavs. This is something that Brandon, go ahead and poke your chest out, because last week we talked about this series, and I said that the Mavs had no chance. They were dead, zero donut, that they would get swept without Luka Doncic. Well, it's a week later, and they up 2-1. I ain't seen Luka yet. Are you taking your victory lap yet, or is this series not over?
I mean, I'm gonna take my victory lap. Like I say, they have something to prove. I'm not saying they're gonna make it to the finals, but they're trying to prove people that we can make it over that hump. We can make it to the next round. So this will be the series that it happens. And I said that. It's on record.
You did. Now, BJ, let me ask you this. Let's go to the Utah side of things. If you're Dwayne Wade, minority owner of the Utah Jazz, and not only did you flame out 2 years ago in the bubble, blow a 3-1 lead to Denver, last year you lose to the Clippers with no Kawhi Leonard, just pandemic Paul George, and you're the 1 seed and you lose to them. And now this year you're about to lose to a Mavs team with no Luka. Do you blow this team up after this year if they get beat by the Mavs?
If you don't blow it up, you at least try to find a piece that'll come in and put them over the top. But I mean,
would you go play in Utah if you was a free agent?
No, ain't nothing to do in Utah, you know.
It has everything to do with Utah. Keep it real on this show. That's what we do here.
No, I'm saying
you were family.
I'm saying most people wouldn't, choosing where you play is a part of like the environment and all that. A lot of players take that in consideration. So Utah wouldn't be the ideal place to, that's why I'm saying I don't know if you would blow it up, because if you can give somebody a lot of money and they can come in and be a major piece, then you don't have to blow up the whole team. You know what I'm saying?
My brother said Utah playing hope defense. Last time I checked, that ain't no strategy. Rudy Gobert, why are you on the perimeter checking people? They are switching you out on Jalen Brunson, and now he's looking like the second coming of Isaiah Thomas. So, like, Utah, my mind is blown. But I agree with you. There's a quandary there. Dwayne Wade couldn't recruit me to Utah. I'd rather go play in Charlotte with LaMelo and be the 9th seed than to be the 4th seed in Utah.
It's nothing sexy about Utah. And I remember they were saying when Karl Malone met his wife, they were introducing him to her, and they were saying, well, he's the mailman. And she was like, well, the mailman where? That was Karl Malone, like back in the day.
Malone.
I mean, Karl Malone and John Stockton, but they was the ish, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Green teamers.
When they kept saying he's the mailman, she's like, the mailman? Like, she had that tells you about Utah. She had no idea the mailman was in reference to an athlete.
They only know for the mountains, the views. That's what's amazing about Utah.
And the Mormons.
That's it.
And the Mormons. My goodness gracious, Tasha. Okay, so we're going to do a quick rapid fire yes or no answer for this. Tasha, do you sit Luka tonight? Yes or no? You're up 2-1. He's questionable to return tonight. You sit him. Brandon, do you sit him? You up 2-1.
I would sit him because a lot of times when you bring like a star player or somebody back in from an injury, it kind of messes up the flow. So you want to keep that flow going. You got to keep it consistent.
BJ, do you sit him tonight? If you
I sit him. I'm with Brandon on that, word for word.
All right. Now moving on to the primetime matchup. Now last week when we previewed the Celtics and New Jersey, and the Brooklyn Nets, Tasha and Brandon was just doing the Dougie. They were doing the South Side. They said it's Team KD all day. What? Paige and KD. KD, you're down 2-0, KD. You're playing off the side of the rim, KD. Now, I don't want to bring up the King, but since BJ brought him up earlier, I remember the King in Cleveland. He didn't have Kyrie. He had the guy who had the red eyes that's now playing golf for North Carolina State, J.R. Smith. He had Bobby Boucher. He had Florida Evans and JJ Jr. He took up. So he didn't have no Kyrie, and he dispatched the Celtics.
And how old was he?
With Brooklyn?
No. What year was that? What year was that? What
Was
year?
They wasn't
Was that
173 years old when they fought.
Was they 18?
Took care of them himself. So
I think
why
that
is
was
KD?
18.
Why can't KD get it done? BJ, what's going on with KD? Is he really on LeBron's level?
No.
Watch your mouth.
But he's definitely a top player for sure. KD is up there. Like, he's one of the best as far as like players for sure. But as far as, I think a lot of time when we argue what's the best, everybody want to throw in what they see. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, this person can do this, or the way Michael Jordan looked like he was gliding through the air.
Come on, BJ.
But you also gotta remember a lot more go into that game. A lot more goes into just putting the ball through the hoop.
Exactly.
You know, a lot more goes through that. And the way LeBron impacts the entire team, I think KD doesn't have that as far as his impact on the team. When KD is not that leader, if that makes sense.
And this is coming from somebody who played athletics at a high level. Now, my brother said he's going to take his Flintstones today because he's getting bullied. He is getting bullied. They're pushing him. They're beating him up. They're grabbing him. It's playoff basketball, and the referees are allowing Boston to play playoff basketball. Tasha, in all seriousness, how does New Jersey Brooklyn get back?
Gosh, you stuck on New Jersey. Why you stuck on New Jersey?
Because when we grew up, that's what they were.
I mean, I was around when they was New Jersey Nets.
Our entire life.
Jason was there. Jason Kidd.
Our entire life.
That's when they were good. They was in the playoff series when they was New Jersey. How do the Nets? Let's just say the Nets. How do the Nets get back in this series? Can they get back in the series?
This is the thing to me, as I'm watching and heart just pounding and breaking. They're being outcoached. Brooklyn has Brooklyn has the overall, or should have the overall better team. Because if you look at it from the beginning, Boston has a bunch of low spades, other than Tatum, who may be an ace, who may be a little.
He's a little joker right now. He's a little joker. Yeah.
But Steve Nash, and this is what KD wanted. KD and Kyrie, they wanted Steve Nash. Steve Nash is being outcoached by his former assistant. And
that is definitely true.
And you know how I felt about Steve and John getting that job anyway. I didn't think he was qualified. I don't think he should have gotten that job. He's getting his productivity as a coach all depends on KD and Kyrie. Mm-hmm. They thought they could just put anybody in there and they can win. They still need to be coached. You shouldn't have to have Mama Durant out there being the mouthpiece for the coach. Steve Nash needs to open up his damn mouth.
Woo, way to go. Way to catch yourself. Way to go.
And he needs to coach. But that tutelage that how do you pronounce his name again, Brent? Udoka got under Popovich, that deep.
Yep.
Hey, walked him down from 17 down the other night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna elaborate on that. It's definitely a coaching thing. I feel like it was more like a popularity. Oh, Steve Nash was this type of player, this and that, so we're gonna put him in. But you got Udoka, who was groomed by Popovich, but Steve Nash was not groomed.
Right.
You got to first be groomed. Udoka played under Popovich and coached under Popovich for countless of years.
And he got Neil Long.
So I mean, the thing about it is,
that's a plus.
Yeah,
that's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Say that again. He got who?
Neil Long.
That's a plus.
That's the problem. He's being outcoached. It's not necessarily the player's performance, because players, and BJ, you can second this on if you want to agree with me or disagree. A lot of times players will play to a certain potential when they have respect for the coach and they know they're buying into what the coach is saying. Now, Steve Nash being a former player, yeah, I can buy in. Okay, yeah, he was good and this and that. But if you don't know how to coach, they're not going to buy into what you're saying.
I feel like that affects the team chemistry. But as far as the individual, if you a dog, it don't matter who out there coaching.
You
You're
should
gonna
be
go
able
and
to play.
you're gonna go do you. But
The Keebler Elf can coach LeBron, and the Keebler Elf can be ring.
Keebler F was coaching, and you see what happened. He decided to go out here and try to shoot 50 points a game. And
Well, look, he got him a ring. Frank Vogel has a ring now.
For claiming how Ruffles
Frank
with cheese.
Vogel has a ring. Come on, man. Yeah, because LeBron got that. Okay.
Frank
dog,
wasn't the problem,
that's a
though.
great-
Frank wasn't the problem. It's that, like I say, front office.
It was, but we're not going to bang on LeBron today because we got guests. All right, moving on. Now, I don't know what y'all was doing Thursday night, but I was going through a carton of cigarettes watching Memphis go down 25 points twice. To the Minnesota the Timberwolves. They finally pulled the game out. They're up 2-1. Now, the way in which we're going to start with you on this one, BJ, because you played a team sport at a high level. Have you ever blown a 3-touchdown, 4-touchdown lead at the high school level, college level at all? Have you ever blown a lead like that?
yeah, we played Baylor.
Oh, we're not trying to judge up no memories, but is that something? How does that affect the locker room when you just give away a game like in a colossal manner like that?
I mean, it's heartbreak. It was heartbreaking. Don't get me wrong. Like that might have been the only I'll say game in college at that level where, like, I was sad. I was like, it's a tear shed because it's like
And
here
we
we
know
are.
Patrick Beverly don't mind letting them flow.
Right. It was just one of those situations where I mean that loss cost us everything. Otherwise, we would have been in the playoffs that year. We had that was our only loss, and we were up 58-37
God,
in the fourth quarter.
God, yeah, I'll be crying on that too.
Man,
Yeah.
I'd have sat there crying with you.
All I knew was, damn. Like that's I remember that, and I just remember sitting there thinking, damn. Like I looked at the score and I said, damn. Like that's all I could say.
With that being the backdrop, Tasha, can Minnesota overcome this? Think about it. If they win tonight, the series is tied 2-2. But is that too much for them to mentally overcome as a young team?
I mean, look who your superstar is. Look who's on the billboard. And we've had this discussion before. They ain't gonna overcome that.
Who you talking about? Edwards?
Cat.
Cat.
Yeah, but Edwards a bad boy though. I like Edwards.
But see, Edwards got so much other drama going on.
Well, off the
Edwards
court.
is a superstar.
Yeah, off
He's
the
a
court, he
superstar.
got so much other drama going on, and I think a lot of times that off the court stuff kind of gets into your head. You're at the epitome of your career right now. You're trying to achieve something. You got all this other stuff going on the outside. Carlin Towns, I don't know what it is about him, and I've had this discussion before. He's never been made to play with his back to the basket. You too damn big to be out there trying to shoot 3-pointers. That's his problem. He's never been made to play his true position. They've always allowed him.
They call him Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. Yeah.
They allowed him to go out there and play his game because he was so big and he was so dominant in high school and in college. He was never made to play his true position, and now it is his downfall. He's not, to me, he's not built for that grit and grind. And I just think Memphis is just gonna come in there and just take it from him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a bad loss. Brandon, is this series over?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm rocking with you on this one. You know, Memphis is gonna take it. You know, I don't know if you guys been seeing the videos with Ja Morant and Karl Anthony Towns' dads going back and forth.
T. Morant.
Yeah, they bring in the energy to the series, but
And
the
Pops
thing
got
about it
that
is-
clean too, don't he?
yeah.
He looked young. I was like, that's
Boy,
a
I
daddy.
thought that was Usher sitting up there in the stands. I was like, look at Usher down here in Memphis.
But yeah, Ja and company gonna take it, you know, and then you got TCU alum as well, Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain, bro.
You know, he playing.
He been hooping, man. He been hooping, huh?
He single-handedly kept us in that game Thursday.
He won that game for them.
Yeah,
He helped win that game for them because Ja Morant wasn't on.
No, he wasn't.
But that's what makes them deadly, just for that fact that if your star player off and y'all still pull a comeback like that, imagine if Ja on and everybody else.
Y'all not gonna play like that again tonight on a Saturday night primetime ESPN. Oh,
No.
you know he gonna have the playoff braids like Iverson would do. I always know when it's a big game because there'll be no hair in the creases on his cornrows. Yeah, you know that.
Getting it braid on the sideline.
You said no creases.
Golly.
All right, now let's talk about Golden State. Now it looks like they're adding a cousin to the Splash Brothers, one Michigan alum, Jordan Poole. Are they the team to beat now in the playoffs? Do you think after going up 3-0 on Denver? Anybody can jump in.
Hey.
You stop it, D.
They looking good, and then they talking about your boy's hamstring down there is messed up. Which they can't win without Book. They can win without Book. They're
not beating Memphis without Book.
But we saw CP3 stepped up, did what he was.
How long he stepped up?
Right, did what he's supposed to do at the age of 37, 38. But man, and you just think Steph coming off the bench.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Who got a Steph on the bench? BJ, how long would you keep Steph on the bench? Will you be superstitious and say as long as we're winning? They haven't lost with him coming off the bench. But that's a 2-time MVP, 3-time champion. You can't leave him on the bench, can you?
You can't leave him on the bench, but it also shows a lot of credit to him. You got to be humble to even accept that, because I mean, he's if he didn't want to come off the bench, trust me, he wouldn't. Right. He said hell no. They would be like, okay, but just the fact that he's like, man, we got this youngster, he going right now, I can come off, and Steph is confident in who he is, so we can be down 15 and I come off the bench and put us right back where we need to be. That's the kind of player he is.
Main word you said, confidence. Yep. Because I got to go back to my lowly Pistons. Remember when they got AI and they put Rip on the bench? Rip said, I ain't got a problem with it as long as it worked, but AI refused to come off the bench. Had they had AI coming off the bench, the Pistons would have been better that year.
And to do one better on that, he would have had a career like Vince Carter had he accepted a bench role and would have stayed in the league 5-6 more years. That ran him out of the league.
That clutch three.
I'm gonna make a connection on that. Steve Kerr, of course, came under Popovich, right? Okay. So I feel like this is an example where you had Manu Ginobili starting, and then he took a back seat, and they still flourished. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing. You got to be humble, and you got to be confident that we can make this happen. Coach, I was a starter. Why, as a starter, you can come off the bench? That, to me, that's phenomenal. If you can come off the bench and you're a starter and you just train all day.
The man has more points than minutes played off the bench. Think about that. And you already got an explosive starting 5 out there with Jordan Poole averaging 30 points a game. Hey, them in Memphis next round. Woo!
That'll be a good matchup to watch.
Now, last but not least, because we all assume that Phoenix will get by New Orleans even without Devin Booker, correct? Are we all in agreement there, or do you think that
man, the Pelicans done showed up for some reason? What? Hey,
okay. So you're saying that we should still watch Sunday at 8:00?
I mean, I ain't watching because on the island it's like 2:30 in the morning, so I'm not watching. I catch their asses in the morning on the app. But I'm just saying.
What you telling the rest of us on stateside? Let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, got you there. But I want to talk about Trey Young real quick. For some reason, this kid is a giant killer. Last year, he knocked off the number 1 seed Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the way they came back on Miami last night in Atlanta and brought the series to 2-1. You had the Migos down there all iced out. Was in the building. Trey sends it down the lane with the basket with 1 second left. Can they do this again, BJ? You think they can do this again and knock off Miami?
No.
He was like,
no.
Tasha, you think so?
They ain't gonna knock him off, but he gonna get one more ATL hoe in on the.
I can see that. He might make it go to 6.
Right.
He might go to 6.
I don't think they'll win the series, but yeah.
No, they're not gonna win the series.
Brandon, you get the last word on that, Brandon.
My boy from the 405 is a dog, but let me tell you,
he is a dog, though. He is a dog.
He's a dog, But the thing about it is, he just don't have the help. So he got to do stuff like that to make the series go farther.
Right,
You know
because
what I
with
mean?
no Capella and a hobbled John Collins,
Yeah.
that's just Miami got too many bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I see it at 6, 4-2.
Now, man, this has been fun, man. We're like this man on his basketball, he's giving us the football stuff. So let's do this because we always close the show with a shout out. But with you, I wanted to, because we have a lot of our viewing audience has kids that's either entering high school or currently playing high school sports. And we're based out of here in Texas. She's the only one way overseas, but we're based here in Texas, where a lot of kids, have aspirations to play at the D1 level. That's the ultimate goal for a Texas kid is to get a D1 scholarship to play at the college level. You did that. What would be your advice to one of those kids that has maybe the talent or parent of a kid that has the talent to go to a D1 level school? What advice would you give them as they're entering high school and going through that process?
I would definitely tell them to stay disciplined. Discipline will be like the top priority. And work, of course, everybody say you work hard, you go after what you want, but it's hard to be disciplined at that age. It's hard to say like, I'm not going to this party or I'm not going to go hang out with y'all or nah, man, I don't drink. Man, have a drink or have a smoke. Like, nah, I'm good. It's hard sometimes it get hard to do that because at that age, you real impressionable. You want to be likable, you want your peers to like you and things like that. But if you got a goal in mind or a dream, like you don't want to be 28, 30, 35 talking about if I would have done this.
Right.
I would rather be 35 saying I did all of this, and if it still didn't work out, it just wasn't in the cards, rather than saying I missed out on certain things and it could have been in the cards, but I didn't give it my all. So I would
got
definitely
the rest of your life to drink, kids. Trust us.
Yeah, stay focused. And also like I know a lot of people say don't have have a plan B, if that doesn't work out. Because let's be honest, 1,000 kids might get signed up go to a D1 scholarship. Everybody ain't gonna play. Everybody won't start. Everybody won't go to the NFL. So at this age or in high school, at that age, you definitely want to give your all to whatever your goal is, but also like find other things that you enjoy and figure out ways that maybe if you can make money off of it, but if it can play into your development, as just a person, because sports won't always be there. It's a very few amount of people that's gonna get that money. We were just talking about $30 million,
right?
You know what I'm saying, or more. So just being disciplined, but being well-rounded. Be well-rounded. Have other things. Don't just let that be the one thing that people know you by.
And there you have it, straight from the words of a college running back that was once in a shootout where they scored almost 100 points combined. He's done it. He's done it at both levels, and I really appreciate you coming on. This has been a fun conversation. You've been fantastic. English is definitely your major because the wordplay and just how natural you are behind the camera has been really, really impressive. Very glad that you came on. Tasha, your shout out time. Who you got this week?
And thank you.
El cumpleaños de mi madre es el lunes. My mother's birthday is Monday.
All right.
Oh, happy birthday.
Birthday was on a Monday
birthday.
this year, huh?
I know. Mine, Brandon's, and my mother was very young when she had me, of course. I was born 2 weeks before her birthday.
Oh, okay.
So we're both April, but she got the wrong zodiac,
Yes. Happy birthday, Mama Sizzle. Happy birthday, Brandon.
Happy birthday.
Who you shouting out today?
Man, I just want to shout out to those Sooners. Getting ready to head to the spring game here in a little bit. So shout out to that. We starting the Brent Venables era. You starting to see a little, change in how things, under the last regimen, how things are starting to iron out. But just shout out to them, injury-free game, be able to enjoy and let their holds up, you know what I mean? But just shout out to them.
Are they bringing that wagon out on the field? Tell them to practice that too.
Oh, we
Right.
didn't
No
got a new
flipping
wagon.
off the damn wagon. This ain't the Oregon
So
Trail.
it's a tilt
We
hazard
did
for that
good. We
thing.
did good last season. Last season, they kind of took it a little slow, ease, like sideways. You know what I mean?
When me and Tasha see them flip off that wagon, like we immediately find each other with a clip of that. All right, BJ, you get the last word. Anybody
Okay.
you want to shout out today?
I want to shout out my group of friends. A few of them, they had their own businesses. One does a clothing line. One has fitness facility. Another one of my friends, he's does photography, and another one of my friends just got
Hey man, you can
promoted.
say their names. We're not in witness protection.
Oh yeah, his name's Calvin, Deontay,
Yeah, shout
Devontae,
their businesses out.
and DeAndre. All Fitness U. All Fitness U. You can find on Instagram.
All right, here we go.
Deontay Gray, he does film photography. He graduated from the New York Film School out in LA. My other friend, his clothing brand is Forever Loyal Apparel.
They got 2XL.
Oh yeah, whatever
Okay.
you need.
And like I say, support these young brothers because y'all go out here spend all this money on this Louis Vuitton, all of this stuff.
Oh nah,
These people.
not
Let's
I.
support-
He said, "Not I."
Yeah, but those are my brothers that we've been friends since high school. Actually, Deontay, the photographer, he played at TCU with me. He was my roommate from we were friends in high school and college. So those guys, they motivate me. Like I said, we've been friends for almost 13, 14 years, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. And like you said, supporting your friends, and I just want to see them all succeed, and want to see you all succeed as well. And like you said, I appreciate you for having me on the show. It's been fun. It's been funny. I've been enjoying it, and I like what y'all got going here. And this is my first time meeting you two, but I like y'all's personality, and I think y'all do a great job. So I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you. This has been fun, and we're gonna get we want to get Denise May Jane's Coffee in there with some of your people as well. Let's build the community of young entrepreneurs here, and if we can be a vessel to do that, then by all means send us their information. We will shout them out right here on the Extra Point on the strength of you coming through and being so real. Until next week, we'll see y'all in 7 days and 23 hours. Peace.
All right, y'all.